I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Robin, for coming. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you for the information. It was a pleasure. Looking forward to it.
So what are you doing here in Charlottesville?
I recently moved from Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been there for 3 years, and now I'm here in Charlottesville.
Are you military?
No.
A lot of people are military. They move around.
No, not military.
That's not my business.
No, I'm not military, but I just moved here. Recently got my home here, and so it's just a matter of exploring and seeing how I could, contribute to the neighborhood that I live in.
Are you science-based?
Quality assurance analyst, testing software.
Yes.
So software.
Still.
But that's what Claire told me. She was like, but it's still quality.
But in other words, you're looking at all the angles and
yeah, I'm very analytical.
Yes.
Very analytical
Awesome.
and logical.
So my house, by the way, is like if you go over the 250 to the other side, and there's a restaurant called Jack and Jill's. I live behind it.
I have no idea where that is.
Okay.
I'm so new. Like people tell me 250, and they call all these things, and I'm like, what? I need a street name.
I know. It's true.
like we were going to Guadalajara one time.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, yeah, take whatever they call a number. I was like, yeah, just. I was like, is that where the Lowe's is? And because nobody gives me street's name.
We just expect everybody to. Because I used to be like you. I moved here in 2006.
I'm only in January.
Go this way and go that way, and it would be like 2 miles away or 5 miles away. Somebody mentioned that it's a shorter route when you know where you're going than if you don't.
Yeah, like sometimes like my GPS will give me a long route, and I'm like, this looks familiar. Like I know a shortcut to this. Like why do you send me all the way around?
Yes.
So it's learning.
GPSs are crazy.
It's learning, and it's like all right. But I have no Jack and Jill.
Okay, so the oldest restaurant in Charlottesville, the city, is a restaurant just over 250. So if you go to this road back here, it goes to 250. That's the traffic light.
Right, that's the main traffic light that goes this way. Okay, Am I turning left or right?
Keep going.
You
go into the city.
Go across from 250.
Right.
Pass the intersection. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm heading like if I'm going to Riverview Park.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
And so as you go you'll be on High Street. They call it East High Street. That's what it's called.
Oh yes, like that's a turn.
Yes.
Kind of chopped.
Yes.
And weird.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Weird. Yes. We want to get it fixed. We do. We're living in that neighborhood. We can't stand it.
Okay. I know where I am now. Go ahead.
So there's this restaurant called Jack, or it's J and Jill. I think it doesn't say Jack. They have really good hot dogs.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
They just have regular hot dogs are really good. And then they have like the 6-footers with a whole bunch of toppings or whatever. But also they have really nice, coffee, breakfast. It's really kind of, like
nice. An old school diner kind of style.
Not with like everything, like
not the bells and whistles though.
No.
Okay.
So, but
hole in the wall.
New York or
I know.
Nashville or something like that. No.
Okay. Jack and I'll look for
Jill. But it's family owned since generations. Keep it.
I will check it out.
But anyway, why I'm saying that's because I live.
Like, what's your name?
Robin.
Robin.
Yes.
I'll be like,
oh my
Robin.
Yes.
Do you hear me? I'm here, Jack and Jill. Just as you told me. Right? And that's what I would do. Like honk honk.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah. Well,
Robin. Okay.
Yeah,
if I don't remember your name, please forgive me. I meet so many faces.
Yeah.
And it's like.
So let me see how much I have left. I have to do 7 more minutes.
Okay. Cool. But I'm sorry.
No, but let me. No, but.
No, I'm sorry.
So nice. You gave me 6 minutes. Now I just gotta get 7 minutes and then I can shut it off and be nice or real. Okay. But what I want to do is give you my information.
Oh, here's Riverview. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is downriver. I wanted to go upriver. I want to go up here this way.
So you would have
This is
to.
upriver. Okay.
This is upriver this way. So you're down here in Glenmore, and then so here's Milton, and there is a trail that comes along the river here by the quarry.
Okay, that's the other side of the river from me. Okay.
I think you're on this side. Glenmore's on.
Oh yeah, there's 64. Yeah. Okay.
And then there should be kind of informal trail, though it is private property still. That takes you all the way to about here, and then that's where the Old Mills Trail.
Okay, yes.
So that's a real trail.
Yeah, I've been to Woolen Mill, but it doesn't look like from there I could access that side.
No, you would have to come all the way up to the bridge. But then if you wanted to go to Key West, then you're kind of in trouble because there's no there's no trail on that side. The trail is on this
yes,
side.
Yes, I've been on this trail.
Yeah.
I've walked from Key West up to here, so that I've done. Okay, yes, I would love to have a trail from Milton. That would be great. So
and I think eventually it's going to connect to Glenmore. That's the plan.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I can tell you that at the end of the Greenway, there is a little creek that goes through. It's created a very mucky little gorge, and then a steep hill. And I gave up. I was hoping I could keep on marching, but it just was too rough, too overgrown.
Yeah,
so to connect to the Greenway won't be easy, but it'll be lovely to do. So how far up the river does this map go? I'm looking for the source.
It looks like it just starts just north of town. So the confluence of the north and south would be up here.
Okay. Because I've walked up Mormons all the way to the Skyline Drive, and I have followed the Roach River up to these several different little springs.
Wow.
But then I look at your map and see no Swift Run up near 33 is the highest you show on the watershed. So now I have a new target, and I suggested to a couple of your people here, organize a hike for us to hike up, because I'm told there is some kind of trail along Swift Run, highway or something. Not a formal hiking trail, but something that we can get up there and get to the source. I've been to the source of many historic rivers in my life, and now that I moved here, that's my target.
So are you a historian by training?
No, by hobby. I was in the State Department, and that's partly because of my love of history that I did in the State Department.
So did you travel all over?
I did. We got postings all over the world, so I've been to the source of the Nile, the source of the Thames, the source of the Rhone, the source of the Mississippi, the source of the Potomac, and difficult run, the creek that used to run past.
I used to live near Difficult Run.
Okay, yeah, we lived in Pembroke. The source is pretty much there. I followed it all the way down to the Potomac. There are a few places I couldn't
swim
get.
in Difficult Run when I was in high school. I lived in Northern Virginia, Reston.
So yes, I got my dream. I found the source like the Tasco in Mississippi. So I did that. Given the source of the Delaware, the North Fork. So that's why the Rivanna is my next target.
With all those other esteemed
I guess I could try to find the source of the James. I haven't even thought about that yet.
Well, the Rivanna is one of the sources of the James.
It is, but whatever's the farthest from the mouth, to me, that is the source. And this being the northern hemisphere, that's normally the northernmost branch.
Yeah.
It would be an odd, it could happen for the odd source of topography that would have a southern branch coming up like that. Like the Monongahela. That's the only northward flowing industrial river in the U.S.
And then we'll talk about
Environmental education programs for children and adults. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Dr. Angela Christini. She's Executive Director of the Meadowlands Environment Center. She's also a Professor of Biology at Ramapo College of New Jersey. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's talk a little bit about your organization, because the Meadowlands Environment Center has a wide variety of programs, but you also have a very special building, a science center.
Yes, we do. Our Special Science Center opened its doors in 2008, and we are a green building. We're a platinum green building. We're the first public building in New Jersey to get a platinum designation by the U.S. Council of Green Buildings. We're very proud of our building, and we use it in many of our teaching programs.
And let's get into some of those programs, because when we think about visiting an environmental center or learning about our environment around us, we often think about programs for kids, and you offer a wide variety of those. Talk to us a little bit about what they include.
Okay, well, first the programs for kids, because we're very attached to those. And I think it's interesting to know that students spend about 85% of their time outside the classroom, and that's excluding sleep. And so there are plenty of opportunities to do informal science education, and that's what we're about. So our little ones are K to 2. We take them out in the marsh and they get to meet the animals, and we talk about how they're specially adapted. Our elementary and middle school students go out in the marsh too, but this time they bring dip nets and they catch crabs and shrimp. We are on a landfill, so we talk about landfills. We talk about eco-engineering. And our high school students, well, they learn about wetlands delineation. And we also do programs with them that simulate environmental conditions. We simulate a fish kill, and they get to understand the chemistry and the biology that would be involved in a fish kill.
So really hands-on activities for kids that are based around environmental learning. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs you offer. One is a program for children and adults with disabilities, and this is a model program.
Yes, it is. It's our Marsh Access program. We are supported by a grant from the National Science Foundation, and we are a national model for bringing children and adults with physical disabilities, but also learning disabilities out into the marsh and into the lab to do real science.
And in addition to that program, you have a program specifically designed for seniors, and this is either at your location or you take it to them.
Yes, we do. And again, this one was also, we're lucky enough to get funded by the National Science Foundation, and we pack up our act and we go to senior centers, to assisted living centers, senior clubs, and we do programs also with a hands-on component. Seniors also like to get their hands dirty. So we do that at their centers. And then in the summer, they're invited to come to the Meadowlands for a special series of lectures. We even do a special senior pontoon boat ride on the Hackensack River, which is really popular.
So regardless of age, there is an opportunity with your organization, but you also have educational programs and workshops intended for the community at large.
Yes, we do. We do lots of activities in fall and spring. We have programs on weekends, programs at night, and even programs at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a lecture series. Folks can come to the Meadowlands this fall, and they can learn about muskrats and horseshoe crabs. They can get up close and personal with spiders and bats if they want to. And they can even learn about the Schuyler Copper Mine, which is one of the first mines in the United States right down the street in North Arlington. So people should visit our website for lots of information about the dates and times, and they can even register online.
And register for a wide variety of programs. We just have a few seconds left, but the educators, as part of the Meadowlands Environment Center, come from Ramapo College.
Yes, they do. Ramapo College, starting in 2003, Ramapo College is responsible for all educational programming at the MEC.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Dr. Angela Cristini. She's Executive Director of the Meadowlands Environment Center. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Newsmakers.
I was watching, especially during the 70s and the 80s, how they were filling in so many of the marshlands, all what we used to belovedly call the swamps when we were kids. We were losing natural resource value, and if I asked anybody about it, they would say, be careful, because these people might make you disappear in the Meadowlands if you make too much noise. And I was like, really? All the years of abuse that the river took from industrial polluters, they dumped everything that you could think of in this river. They were just trying to get rid of their waste cheaply, and the cheapest way to do it was to just dump it in the river. The towns themselves used the Meadowlands as dump sites. It was all renegade dumping, and they would throw dirt roads into the marsh and then just drive garbage trucks out and dump the stuff right off the side of the road into the wetlands. In those days, I used to have to station somebody on the bow of the boat just to let me know if there were any telephone poles or any other big debris in the river that I had to avoid when I was driving the boat, because you couldn't see it all. In the 1960s, I was into the rock and roll business, and I traveled around a bit. It was a good life, but it stopped. And after a while, I just said, the hell with it. And I went for the taxi business. And I stayed in the taxi business for about 20 years. I guess it was around 1991. I was reading in one of the local fishing magazines that the New York, New Jersey baykeeper was looking for volunteers to help patrol the harbor. And since I had a boat and I did a lot of fishing at that time, all they were asking of me was to keep my eyes open if I saw anything suspicious to report it. And that was easy enough, you know, but as I became more and more involved in the volunteer work, I realized that this river, the Hackensack, needed a full-time advocate. Five miles in that direction is the most heavily developed spot on the planet, Manhattan Island. And then over there is the biggest city in New Jersey, Newark. And just downstream on this river is Jersey City. Instead of trying to control the population so that we fit into the built environment, we just keep expanding the built environment out. And that's one of the reasons why we went to war over protecting the wetlands here. Because if no one had said, hold on a minute, the development community in cahoots with the state of New Jersey were hell-bent to fill in as much of this as possible and build more of that stuff on it. Every time we take down a polluter, the word gets out. Everybody says, we got to be more careful now. One of the first big projects that we stopped was 2,000 housing units on Mill Creek Marsh in the north end of Secaucus. We didn't need 2,000 housing units in town, and we certainly didn't need them to fill in a marsh to do it. And everybody told me it was a done deal. If you go over to the Mill Creek Mall now, there's a trail that goes into the marsh. And it covers all of the acreage that they were going to fill in to build those homes. It's like a public amenity now. In 2015, last year, January, I sent a letter to Region 2 EPA requesting that they study the bed of the river to determine whether or not it should become a Superfund site. "28 points is like the threshold for getting onto the Superfund list. And when they finished up their literature search, the river had already scored like 56 points or something to that effect. What that did was it convinced them that it was worth going to the next phase, and that's ongoing right now. Pretty much as we speak, there are consultants somewhere on this river between Newark Bay and Oradell taking core samples of the sediments. If they list the river, a complete cleanup could be done in somewhere between 20 to 30 years. If they don't list the river, it could be 150 years before people could start eating fish here again. Because it will take that long for new sediments to build on top of the dirty sediments and act as a buffer between the contamination and the food chain. I want to capture people's imagination about the river. And yes, there still are problems. And, you know, I deal with those problems on a daily basis. After you put a couple of them through the ringer and you publicize the hell out of it, other companies are much more careful going forward. And that's, you know, the best results I could ask for. If I had to sue everybody that ever did anything wrong to this river, I'd have to live to be 1,000 years old in order to get all those cases through the court system. For years in my own life, you know, I didn't know that I had a voice. You know, like I grew up in the 50s and 60s where, you know, it was common knowledge that you can't fight City Hall. As I got older and I realized that there were processes that you could deploy, that was like an epiphany for me.